The lights are going out early in some of the world's biggest nightlife destinations. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English. Plain English is the best way for you to improve your English with stories about current events and trending topics. Every Monday and Thursday, we have a new story about something going on in the world, and you get to learn new words and ideas in English by listening here. Today's story is all about nightlife. Is the nightclub dying? Maybe not completely, but something is going on. Late night events are becoming less frequent in some of the world's top nightlife destinations. Today, you'll learn about what's happening or what's not happening after hours. This is episode number 744 of Plain English, and here's a tip. You can listen online and follow along with the free transcript at plainenglish.com/744. You can also take a free quiz there too to check your understanding of the story. plainenglish.com/744. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story. On New Year's Eve, the nightclub Watergate held a 35-hour dance party. The Watergate is in a concrete building on the River Spree in Berlin. It's famous for its floor-to-ceiling windows, kaleidoscope ceiling, and all-night parties. But the 2024 New Year's Eve party was its last. The Watergate, which opened in 2002, is the latest victim of the Clubsterben. That's a German word that means club death. Clubsterben is striking around the world as nightclubs close their doors and all-night parties become less frequent. The Financial Times, a newspaper in London, recently updated an analysis of late-night dance parties. The newspaper examined listings from the website Resident Advisor. It found that the number of nightclubs open past 3 a.m. has decreased in 12 out of 15 global cities it analyzed. It's not just fewer events. Many venues are closing for good. Britain has a strong club culture, but a recent industry report said that 37% of Britain's nightclubs have closed just since 2020. Melbourne, Australia, is a nightclub capital of the world, but there, over 100 clubs have closed in recent years. Those that remain are less likely to be open all night. So it's true. From Barcelona to New York and Manchester to Melbourne, the party is ending earlier than ever before. There are several factors driving this change. One is the pandemic hangover. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many cities implemented more restrictive licensing and more onerous regulation. London, for example, reduced the number of 24-hour licenses in the city. Some cities restricted the number of clubs that could be open in the same neighborhood, responding to residents' concerns about noise and public safety. Others increased regulation around security, requiring venues to install advanced surveillance systems and expensive digital ID checks. Some cities charge nightclubs extra fees to be open late. In Dublin, nightclubs have to pay over €400 per night just to be open until 2 o'clock a.m. So for some nightclubs, the hassle of being open late just isn't worth it. Drink sales drop off in the early morning hours, so those last few hours aren't very profitable. Nightclubs are also facing competition from day clubs. Several big cities have seen an increase in events that end early in the evening. Matinee Social Club in New York originally targeted clubgoers in their 30s, but found a surprising number of partiers in their 20s were interested. A party called Day Shift is active in 7 cities in the US and Australia. It goes from 5 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Its website says, "Party all day, bed by 11. But the biggest buzzkill of all? Young people today are just not into clubbing like previous generations were. The idea of drinking a lot, dropping a lot of money on bottle service, taking party drugs, and staying out well past sunrise, well, that idea doesn't appeal to the newer generation of young people. One commentator called Gen Z the most sober generation yet. In the US, alcohol consumption among young people has been declining for 20 years. A recent survey found that only 62% of adults under the age of 35 say they ever drink. In Britain, surveys show the same thing. Young people increasingly say they don't drink, and they're waiting longer to try alcohol for the first time. Party drugs are part of the nightclub culture, but illegal drug use is at historic lows in the United States, a trend likely to be true in other parts of the developed world too. Younger people are more educated about sleep, and they like to get their Z's. More young people say they get 8 to 9 hours of sleep per night. It's hard to do that when you're partying until 6 or 8 in the morning. Many people simply find that they don't need to go to an all-night party for entertainment. Netflix and video games are cheap. Dating apps and social media let you connect with others during waking hours. There are better uses for $200 than to spend it on just one night. And hey, it's nice to be awake and coherent on a Sunday morning too. Nightclubs won't completely die out anytime soon, but the industry needs to adapt, or else it will continue to shrink. A note on Watergate's website put it this way: the days when Berlin was flooded with club-loving visitors are over. There are a few cities where late-night events are either holding steady or getting more popular. They are Madrid, Buenos Aires, Tokyo, Paris, and Mexico City. The cities with the biggest decrease in late night events are New York, Amsterdam, Barcelona, and Manchester, England. That brings us to the end of Plain English for today, Monday, January 27th, 2025. Remember, we're here every Monday and Thursday with a new story twice a week, and we are bringing the expressions back. Don't worry, they're just on pause for a few weeks while we finish up our newest project, and that is almost ready. So watch your email, watch this podcast feed for the news. Now, if you're not on the email list, if you're not getting email announcements, just go to plainenglish.com/mail, M-A-I-L, and you'll get all the Plain English news as well as new stories. plainenglish.com/mail, M-A-I-L. See you right back here on Thursday. Listen up if you speak Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, or Turkish. One of the most frustrating things about listening and reading in a second language is being confused by unfamiliar words or phrases. When you listen to Plain English, or when you read the transcript, you probably encounter some words you don't know. When that happens, you have a few options. You can stop the audio, go look up the definition, then return to the episode, find your place, and press play again, but that's exhausting. Or you can just skip it and be confused. That's no fun either. But what if you could see the translation of the word into your language instantly without having to stop the audio, without having to look anything up? Well, you can at plainenglish.com. For each episode, we translate about 100 words and phrases from English to 9 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, and Turkish. And we highlight those words in blue. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the highlighted word, and you'll see the translation instantly. It works great on mobile too. It really makes listening a lot more satisfying, and it's a great way to expand your vocabulary in English. The best way to see these translations is to sign up for a free 14-day trial at plainenglish.com. During your trial, you can read as many transcripts as you like, all with the translations into your language. So sign up for your free trial today at plainenglish.com.